Assalamu alaikum. My name is Muneeb Ahmed and my group members are Ali Hassan and Ahmed Hassan. Today our topic of discussion is punctuation marks. First of all, we should know about what is punctuation. Punctuation is a set of marks used to regulate texts and clarify their meanings, mainly by separating or linking words, phrases and clauses. The word comes from the Latin word puncture, meaning making a point. Marks of punctuation include comma, period, colon, hyphen, question mark, quotation mark, semicolon, parenthesis, apostrophe, dashes, ellipses, and slashes, etc., which we are going to discuss in our next slides. Now, the purpose of punctuation. Clarifying sentence structure. Punctuation helps to indicate the relationships between the words and phrases in a single sentence, making it easier for reader to understand the intended meaning. Indicating pause and intonation. Punctuation marks such as comma, semicolon, and period indicate where the reader should pause and how the sentence should be read, conveying important information about emphasis and tone. Distinguishing between clauses and phrases. Punctuation marks such as colon and dashes help to separate and define the different parts of sentence, making it easier for the reader. Conveying meaning. Punctuation marks can significantly impact the meaning of a sentence. For example, changing placement of comma can completely alter the meaning of a sentence. How to use punctuation. Proper use of punctuation is essential for effective communication in the written language. Different punctuation marks have different functions. They are used in different ways depending on the context and purpose of writing. For example, a period indicates the end of a sentence, while a comma separates the items in a list or separates clauses within a sentence. So we need to be careful while putting a punctuation in a sentence. Now we will discuss about the punctuation marks. The first one is apostrophe. The apostrophe is used to indicate possession or ownership, typically with a singular noun. For example, Zan's tool chest is next to the furnace. Here we have used apostrophe for a singular noun Zan to show its possession. The apostrophe is also used in contractions to show the omission of letters. For example, I can't live without her. Here we have used apostrophe to hide the word not to show its contraction. Now, colon. It is used to introduce a list. For example, Musa needs the following items for the party: balloons, streamers, and cake. Here, we have used colon to introduce a list which is basically balloons, streamers, and cake. It is also used to separate the clauses. For example, Zan had one goal to win the race. Here, we have separated the clauses with the help of a colon. It is also used for introducing quotation. For example, Musa said, I love cake. Here we have used colon to introduce quotation.
Thanks, Munir. Writers often get in trouble with commas when they employ one of two common words of wisdom. First, when in doubt, leave it out. Second, use a comma when there is a pause. Both rules are inexact. Writers use the first rule to justify the complete avoidance of commas. They use the second rule to sprinkle commas randomly throughout their writing. Now we will see how or where to use the comma. Number 1. Place a comma before a coordinating conjunction like and, but, or, for, so or yet, etc., linking to independent clauses. For example, you are the best pattern for the job. Now I am using the comma here. So I will hire you. Second, use commas to set off introductory comments. For example, first, again I am using comma here. She soldered the components. Third point, use commas to set off sentence interrupters. For example, the company, I'm using comma here, started by my father, again comma. Here the sentence is interrupted. Did not survive the last recession. Number 4. Use commas after each item in a series of 3 or more. For example, Musa, again comma, Justin, comma, and John were chosen as employees of the year. Number 5. Use commas to set off long numbers. For example, Musa earns $1 lakh before taxes. In between these words, I am using the commas. Number 6. Use commas to set off the day and year when they are part of a sentence. For example, the company hired Musa on June 6, 2021. to be its bookkeeper. In between these date and year, I am using the commas, which are the part of sentences. So the next punctuation mark is dash. A dash typed as two consecutive hyphens with no spaces before or after is a versatile punctuation mark used in the following ways. Number 1. After a heading or before an explanation. For example, forecasting. I'm using the dash here. Musa and John will be in charge of researching fourth quarter production quotas. Second, to indicate an emphatic pause. For example, Musa will be fired and after this there is a pause. Unless Musa obey company rules. So this is how we use the dash. Number third, to highlight a new idea. For example, here's what we can do to improve production qualities. After there I'm using the dash to highlight a new idea. Then provide on the job training, salary incentives and quality controls. Number 4. Before and after an explanatory or a positive series. For example, three people, Musa, Johnny and Tom, are essential to the smooth functioning of our office. Between three people, Musa, Johnny and Tom, I am using the dash here. The next punctuation mark is ellipses. Ellipses, three space periods indicate omission of words within quoted materials. For example, 6 years ago, prior to incorporating, the company had to pay extremely high federal taxes. In this example, I'm going to omit some words within the quoted materials. Like some years ago, I'm using the ellipses here. The company had to pay extremely high federal taxes. So this is ellipses. The next punctuation mark is exclamation point. Use an exclamation point after strong statement, command or interjections. For example, you must work hard. I'm using the exclamation point here. Do not use the machine. I'm again using the exclamation point here. Danger. I'm again using the exclamation point here. So this is the exclamation point, how we use this. The next punctuation mark is hyphen. A hyphen is used in the following ways. First, to create a compound adjective. For example, Musa is a well-known artist. So in between well-known I am using the hyphen here. Second, to join the numerator and denominator of fractions. For example, 4/5 of the company want to initiate profit sharing. In between 4/5 it's like 4 by 5. So I'm using the hyphen here. Third, to write out two-word numbers. For example, 26 people attend the conference. So in between 26 I am using the hyphen here. So I'm going to invite Emerson to continue the further discussion.
Thank you very much, Hassan. Now we will understand the use of parentheses with the help of some examples. First, it is used to set off abbreviations. For example, the World Health Organization (WHO) has been monitoring virus spread. Here, the abbreviation for the term World Health Organization (WHO) is enclosed within the parentheses. Second, to enclose additional information. For example, the boy who fell down from chairs yesterday has recovered. Here in this example, you can see that the additional information is written within parentheses. Next, to number items in a series. The company should initiate new personal practices, a probability review board and biennial rises. So in this example, you can see that items in a series are written within parentheses. Parentheses. Yeah, So the next punctuation mark is period. Period must end a declarative sentence or an independent clause. For example, I found the business trip rewarding. Here you can see that period is used to end a declarative sentence. Now we will see a common mistake people do while using a period. It is incorrect to use period with abbreviations for organization and association. So do not use period for abbreviations. So the next quotation mark so the next punctuation mark is quotation mark. It is used when citing direct quotations. For example, he said, your Dween sold the most compressor last year. So when you are quoting someone, then it must end with a quotation mark. Next, to note the title of an article or a subdivision of a report. For example, the article Robotics in Industry Today was an excellent choice as the basis of your last speech. In this example, Robotics in Industry is the title of an article and it is written within quotation mark. Abide the following punctuation conventions. Comma and period always go inside quotation marks. For example, she said our percentage are fixed. So in this example, period and comma lies within quotation mark. Colons and semicolons always go outside the quotation mark, as you can see from this example. Next, exclamation points and question marks goes outside the quotation mark if the quoted material is either exclamatory or a question mark. For example, John said, don't touch that liquid, it's boiling. So in this example, you can see that the quoted material is exclamatory, so the point of exclamation lies within the quotation mark. Next, exclamation point and question marks goes outside the quoted material if the quoted material is not exclamatory or a question. For example, how could she say we have not purchased the equipment yet? In this example, the quoted material is not exclamatory, so the point of exclamation or question marks lies outside the quotation mark. So the next punctuation mark is question mark. Use a question mark after a direct question. For example, how are you? Will you be my girlfriend? So these are direct questions and we have to use question mark. Next, often we use questions that are embedded within a statement. For example, I wondered what time it is. She asked if I had finished my homework. So these are questions that are embedded within a statement, so we have to use question mark. The next punctuation mark is semicolon. It is used between two independent clauses not joined by a coordinating conjunction. For example, the light source was unusual, semicolon, it emanated from a crack in the plastic surrounding the cathode. Here, these are two independent clauses and we do not use coordinating conjunction, so semicolon is used between these two coordinating conjunctions. Next, it is used to separate items in a series containing internal commas. For example, I need to buy bananas, which are my favorite fruits, semicolon, apples, which are good for baking, semicolon, and oranges, which are good source of vitamin C. So here you can see that semicolons are used in a series to separate different items. These are the references for our today's presentation. If you have any queries, then kindly let us know in the comment section. Thank you very much.